Hello, what's going on? I'm back, everybody. This your girl Tiffany. I'm coming through right here live in effect. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and share the channel and all that great stuff. All right. So tonight I want to get into a very important topic. Why are fathers very important? So why am I speaking on this subject? Because I have an article that I want to present that deals with the psychology of having a father around during the child's infant stage. And also, not only that, but it has shown that the more that the father is active, it helps reduce the amount of depression that the child may be suffering from, and it also helps the mother out a lot. So let me go ahead and present this article to you guys. I have my screen showing. All right, so right here, this has come from PsyPost.org, which is a very good website. And it's called Fathers Who Are More Involved in Early Infant Parenting Show Reduced Depressive Syndromes. All right. So it goes on to say a new study shed lights on how a father's involvement in early infant caretaking influences paternal mental health. The findings published in Frontiers in Psychology revealed that fathers with greater parenting self-efficacy and greater parental involvement show fewer depressive symptoms during their child's first year of life. While postpartum depression has been more extensively studied among mothers, researchers have begun to show interest in studying depressive symptoms among new fathers. One circumstance that appears to play a role in paternal depression is the father's involvement with infant caregiving. All right. Since previous research on the subject has been correlational, Elijah in Bamashabin Jr. and his research team were interested in examining longitudinal data to explore the link between early paternal involvement and later depressive syndromes or symptoms, The authors specifically want to examine how a father's time spent with his new baby parenting self-efficacy and contribution of material support are associated with a father's depressive symptoms during the infant's first year of life. All right. So there are studies on this. As you can see, it says, I am a father of two young boys myself, and research is oftentimes me search. Generally speaking, I think fathers are important in the family. However, in our field, historically, they have been understudied, especially racial/ethnic minority fathers. Explain Bamishing Ben, if I'm saying his last name correct, an assistant professor of psychology at California State University, Long Beach. So it goes on to say a study was conducted among a racially diverse sample of 881 low-income fathers from the United States. The fathers were interviewed 1 month, 6 months, and 1 year following their child's birth. At every time point, the fathers completed a measure of self-efficacy in parenting tasks and disclosed how often they provide material support for the new child. They were also asked about the estimate amount of waking hours they spent with their baby and the amount of alone time they spent with their baby during a typical weekday and weekend. Finally, they completed the Edinburgh postpartum depression scale. All right. The results revealed that fathers who reported greater paternal self-efficacy spend more time with the infant and provide greater material support for the child 1 month after birth show reduced depressive symptoms in the baby's first year of life. These associations remain even after accounting for various demographic variables like age, ethnicity, education, and marital and cohabiting status. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and skip some of this. So the researchers next examined whether a father's involvement was linked to the likelihood of meeting criteria for clinical depression after accounting for all control variables. Only self-efficacy was linked to a reduced likelihood of clinical depression during the baby's first year. The researchers speculate that self-efficacy is likely important because fathers who feel better about their parenting skills likely feel more satisfied as parents and accordingly experience fewer depressive symptoms. All right, so let's go to the original article, which was published. All right, so this is the original article here on this website, which is the Frontier in Psychiatry.org. All right. So let me talk for a minute. Let me talk about this for a minute. To start off, I see that it affects both ways, not just the father, but also the child. Because see, when you have both parents in the household, there's a lot more balance. Okay. I'm not saying that it's going to be perfect, but it's a lot more balance. Especially when you have your father present or somebody who is like a stepfather, it brings more balance. So more kids start to become, and most of the time children have a very close relationship with their dad, or they longing for their dad more than they do with their mothers. It's not that they don't love their mothers, but they just want to be more bond. They want to have a more relationship, a better bond with their fathers. And so I've noticed this to be a fact where fathers or men have told me in the past that they don't get the opportunity to see their children because the mother interference, and it breaks them down and makes them depressed because they don't have the opportunity to be around and watch their kids grow up and see their child take their first step, celebrate their child's first birthday. It does something to them psychologically. It does something to them emotionally. And especially if you're a parent that's on lockdown, that's incarcerated, you're not able to spend time. That really makes you more depressed. So the reason why fathers are very important because they help bring the balance. Now, there may be a case where the father cannot be around because worst case scenario, or if the father is very abusive, such as molestation, rape, physical abuse, then that's a different story. But if it's a situation where the mother and the father was not able to find peace in their relationship, then they would have to work on how to be co-parents. Because as women, we tend to hold on to a lot of baggage. And when you hold on so much baggage, you're not only affecting the father of your child, but you're also affecting your children. So your child's ability to have a relationship with the other parent. That's the most important piece right there. So people have this condescending attitude where you don't need your daddy around, you don't need no man around, etc. That's not fair. I mean, because at the end of the day, you do. You still need a child's father. Or you need a father figure around your kids, especially if you have boys. They need fathers. Or otherwise, they're going to turn to the streets and look for a father figure. You don't realize what they do when a father and a son have a bond like that, a very strong bond, a special one, and you take that away. That just really cuts through the heart. But when you take away the father and daughter relationship, that cuts through the brain. Because daddy want to be there to protect his baby girl and talk to her about boys and sex and, make sure she know what she's doing and things of that nature. He wants to be able to teach her some things that she need to know about life. And he can't be there to protect her and tell her what she needs to know, then she totally lost. So for many young women, they grow up and not knowing who their father is. And when they try to find a father figure, it's hard because the men they come across are more so perverted and they want other things besides being a father figure. So what I learned so far by reading that article, that the woman is not the only one that's dealing with postpartum syndrome and depression after having her child. The man is also dealing with it as well, especially if his first kid. He's going to deal with a lot of depression. And if he's not around, and if he's not able to provide for that child, it's going to either make him more depressed. So I'm going to look back at this article on this Frontier website. Father involvement in infant parenting in an ethnically diverse community sample predicting paternal depressive symptoms. All right. So this brother here has an African name, Elijah Bimishi Ben Jr. or Bamishi Ben Jr., if I'm saying it right. And then you got Don K. Wilson, Demetrius A. Apshire, and so many others that was involved in this study. So this study really came out in September of 2020. All right, so let's see. Let's look at the introduction. It says parental depressive symptoms following the birth of a child are now a topic of increasing interest. Estimates from three meta-analysis indicate that approximately 8 to 10% of men experiencing depression during the transition period to parenting and during early fatherhood, with the highest prevalence at 3 to 6 months after birth. The prevalence of prenatal and postnatal depression among fathers is approximately twice as high as the prevalence of depression among men in general. The substantial proportion of fathers experiencing postpartum depression has an important implication not only for fathers who deserve attention, but also for maternal and child health and well-being. Fathers often exert a strong influence on family life and functioning, and paternal depressive symptoms have been associated with adverse child and maternal mental health outcomes such as depression and psychiatric disorder. The present study incorporates fathers and their experiences into our understanding of the family unit during the time following a birth. All right. And then it goes on to say, to our knowledge, no study has examined the link between early paternal involvement and later paternal depressive symptoms following the birth of a child. Previous studies have examined the association between father involvement and depressive symptoms using cross-sectional study design. One study of preteen sons of non-residential Black fathers found that lower paternal involvement was cross-sectionally associated with higher levels of paternal depressive symptoms in control analysis. Furthermore, a recent study reported that fathers who were depressed were more withdrawal when playing with their infants in comparison to non-depressed fathers, and were more likely to neglect their children. Another study reported that paternal depressive symptoms were not associated with paternal involvement, such as caregiving and playtime. Thus, it is not known whether father involvement in early infancy has protective benefits with respect to later paternal depressive symptoms during the year following a child's birth. Based on previous conceptualization of father involvement, this study focused on three aspects of involvement: the amount of time fathers spend with the infant, parenting self-efficacy, and the father's provision of material support for the baby in predicting paternal depression over the first year after the birth of a child. So I guess this helped me to understand that's part of why you have men who are not active in their kids' life at all, meaning that they will leave before the child is even born. So could it be a form of depression why certain men leave, as far as not being active, not being there for the childbirth? The factors. So some men might say, well, they don't even tell you why they leaving. They don't even give you an explanation. They just don't come around. They don't come around. So maybe, just maybe, depression could be the main reason why. It could be the main reason why most men don't, or some men don't come around their children at all. That makes sense. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's understandable. Let's just put it like that. It's understandable. All right. All right, so parenting self-efficacy or self-confidence, which reflects a father's ability to care for offspring, is an important determinant of paternal involvement. To our knowledge, no study has evaluated whether parenting self-efficacy is related to depressive symptoms over the time in low-income fathers from racially and ethnically diverse backgrounds. All right. It says one longitudinal study of 86 fathers from the first trimester to 6 months after the birth of a child found that greater parenting self-efficacy was correlated with lower depressive symptoms. All right, so it goes on into the material support. Consistent with a historical perspective on fathers, scholars have argued that the procurement of economic resources and being a provider for the family are also important. And especially when fathers and mothers are not in an ongoing marital or close relationship, others have noted the importance of financial support as being a form of paternal involvement with the responsibility domain, and have suggested that provision of material support by fathers is a critical aspect of father involvement. So right where it says material support, although it is important that the father provides economically for the child, making sure the child has the necessary things such as clothes, shoes, and Pampers, and school supplies, all this extra stuff. But it's also very important to give some type of fundamental education to the child. Be there psychologically. Be there as an emotional support, not just there financially. Because either way, with that, they'll make a child feel like he or she is abandoned, or they will use the father just for that purpose only, and they will see no other values. But if you guys want to check out more, about this studies, you can look on Frontier and Psychiatry.org. Frontiers and Psychiatry.org. Father involvement in infant parenting and ethnically diverse community sample predicting paternal depressive symptoms. You guys can go ahead and check this website out and to learn more information about it. It's a great source, and I think that they have done a good job with doing the research, and it's necessary to put the research out there so that many who are psychologists, sociologists can read into it and be able to make that a roundtable discussion or conversation or whatnot. Anyways, that's all I have for this evening. This your girl Tiffany, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in. For those of you that was watching, make sure you check out my channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, and all that great stuff. So until then, you guys, may peace and power elevation be to all of you. It's your girl Tiffany, and I'm going to log off. All right. Deuces.